Hello, happy, healthy people. Thank you for watching this video today. I'm coming to you from a river. I just jumped in and I hope that you can see me and hear me and receive this message. Today's video is Radical Self-Care Part 2. So it's a continuation of a video I made a few weeks ago that's available on my channel if you want to subscribe and check out that earlier video. This video is kind of going to be an energetic transmission and a continuation of that same thread. And the essence of that thread, if you haven't watched that video, is that we can only take responsibility for ourselves. And that when we do take full responsibility for ourselves, we're able to elevate our lives. Because there's no more illusion, no more blame. And this thread, to me, happened in my life when I was working in activism for many years, and then sort of transitioned to a quest for self-awareness, really. And I think that's a journey that a lot of souls go on. Maybe you watching this, you've been involved in social justice causes and activist spaces. And for me, at least, those experiences led me to go deeper within myself, to practice more self-inquiry, and ultimately to realize the essential lesson, which is that we change the world by changing ourselves. And there's a profound medicine in here that has been healing me, because in activism and the work that I worked, for me, primarily my issue was the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It's something that I studied in university. It's an issue that's kind of close to my heart, involves my communities. And I also spent time there in the West Bank, in Palestine, volunteering and seeing the conflict with my own eyes. And so this work, very important. Like, I'm so grateful that I was able to dive so deeply into this cause, because I think it is essential. We are a human family, and I understood from a young age, your injustice is my injustice. Like, we're all woven together in this web of humanity. And knowing this, I was able to really empathize with these people who live in apartheid and live in a state of such oppression. And I felt anger, really, a lot of rage at this system that allows for this to even happen. And these emotions, I think, are often associated in activist spaces. I felt them, at least, a lot of anger and rage. Also a lot of sadness underneath all of that anger and grief. It hurts. It hurts to know that our human family isn't getting along. And it hurts my soul. And if you are an empath, it maybe hurts your soul. And that feeling itself is important, I believe. And we want to use it as fuel. And I think that I was on this kind of negative feedback loop of putting all of my energy into this activist work, and realizing that this problem is so big. I'll expand on that. For example, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I started to understand it on every level, right? There's a huge financial component. There's AIPAC, this huge pro-Israel lobbying group in the U.S. that is funneling money into the pockets of Republicans and Democrats. Everyone in government is being paid off by these people. Like, this is such a big operation. And it's also happening it's a transgenerational conflict, like a lot of conflicts are. So it happens through storytelling, throughout generations, throughout families, throughout communities, telling the same tale, that same narrative of, we're the victim, or they're the perpetrator, or they're just these stories that get so ingrained. And, I just started feeling almost powerless. Like, this is such a huge area. And that's, I think, why I went into education, because I realized that we have to start with the children, with the youth, with telling them a new story, giving them new tools, teaching them not to fear the unknown. And this work, though, this cycle that I'll go back to that I was stuck in, is knowing how complicated this work is, knowing how many layers there are, putting all of my energy into this work, and ultimately the conflict isn't resolved, right? Like, I worked on it for 5 years, and it's not like I resolved the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. So obviously, like, there's a bigger piece here. And this is something that I have recently brought into my awareness from Dr. Bayo Akomolafe, who is Yoruban. He's from Nigeria, and he was just interviewed on the For the Wild podcast, which is an amazing podcast with really beautiful wisdom and medicine. It's on YouTube if you want to check it out. And in For the Wild, Dr. Akomolafe talks about this idea of postactivism, that we exist in this time after activism, that activism has been a huge driving force, and we're now sort of shifting to a new paradigm, which I really resonate with, because, yeah, the truth of the matter is, and Dr. Akomolafe says this, that when there is a conflict, when there is a trauma somewhere in the human family, right, somewhere on Earth, oftentimes the response to that conflict or to that trauma can be just as traumatic, or more so. And it's that response to the conflict that actually also isn't energetically balanced. So, for example, like with this conflict, I felt so much anger and hate and rage. And like, is that really helping heal the world if I'm angry? Truthfully, if I'm really, really sad, does that help the world? And yeah, okay, there could be an answer, yes, but I would say yes, because I'm able to channel it. I'm able to channel these negative emotions into light work, right? From darkness to light. And this is what I'm getting to, and this is why radical self-care is so important, because I ultimately cannot control what all these governments do and what all of these, people in power, their choices. I can't control those choices. I can control my choices. So I can choose to live in joy. And I can choose to take care of myself and prioritize my health above all else, everything else. And that is ultimately the medicine that the world needs. And by standing in my truth and my power, I give others in my life permission to stand in their power and speak their truth. So, like, this is that radical self-care part that goes into the bigger picture of why I matter so much. Because I'm a mirror. I am a mirror for this world. And, being here by the river teaches me that tenfold, that I am a mirror. And if I can transmute the darkness in me, as within, so without. And as I transmute my pains, my shadows, I'm bringing more light into this collective consciousness. So, there can be a lot of pressure, especially with how much we are exposed to the trauma and the conflict around the world in the media. There can be a lot of pressure to give parts of your attention and energy away. And, it's okay. This is what I needed to hear, at least. Like, it's okay to say this issue, like, defending this issue is truth, right? And it's not my issue. Like, that's not my cause that I'm right now going to do the work on. But yes, defending it would be in my truth, would be in alignment. And, like, I'm not doing that right now. But I hold my beliefs about it. I hold my, where I am on the moral compass, I hold that, right? But I'm not actively giving a lot of attention and energy to that, because I understand that it's all connected. And I understand that when I give to myself, when I take care of myself, when I build wellness in my body, that has ripple effects, right? That will touch every part of this world that is dark. and trying to hide. So bringing out your own inner light is the work. And that is, I mean, the ultimate act of activism. It's the ultimate justice, social justice work. It's bringing out your light within and then bringing joy to others. And this is the thing, this is my last point that I think will be empowering to many, because it was when I discovered it, which is the first step to changing what you're doing isn't changing what you're doing. It's just becoming aware of what you're doing, right? So it's like, for example, like I shower every day. Okay, I can just bring awareness to my bathing routine. I can bring a note of presence and intention to something I'm already doing. Because the truth of the truth of the truth of the truth of the matter is, it's not what you do. It's not what you do. Health, it's not what you do. It's not like take all these supplements and you'll be okay. Do all this body work and you'll be okay. It's not what you do. It's how you do it. So it's not what I'm eating. It's not that I'm eating the most, locally sourced, completely carbon-free groceries and produce and meat, right? Like that is a dream. It's not happening right now. That doesn't mean I can't be healthy nutrition-wise, because it's not what I eat. It's how I eat. Am I grateful for this food right now in this moment? Am I giving thanks for the ability to nourish myself? Am I welcoming in the food with joy and gratitude? Am I allowing myself to rest and digest and absorb those nutrients fully, right? It's how you do it. It's how you eat. It's how you move. It's how you be, how you are. And that, you're a bank teller, right? It's not that you're a bank teller. That's not what's going to save the world. But how you're a bank teller, that could save the world, right? Like that joy that you bring to your job and that warmth could give someone who has so much anxiety and tension around money and finances and feeling worthy, that could just crack them open. Oh my God, they have an experience with you. They're trying to get a credit card or open an account. They're so scared. They have all these negative voices and you just wash them with love. I mean, that's changing the world. That changed that person's experience, right? And that opened them. And now they're going to be able to go open others. And so it's this opening. It's how you live. It's, are you open? Do you live an open life? And if I'm an activist, I'm fighting for social justice everywhere, but I'm so closed off and so angry and so mad, that's not helping. And I realized that it's how I am. And that's where all the inner self work and all of the mirror work, just turning it around. What is in here? What in here needs healing, needs balance, needs justice and harmony? And you can start today, not by doing anything new, but by being aware of what you're already doing and how you're doing it. So here's my challenge for you in a moment when you become aware, right? We're going through the day, we're on autopilot, bum, 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 bum. Whoa, I have to wait for the red light. I have a moment. And I ask myself, what is the quality of my energy in this moment? And that's power. That's true power. Thanks for watching.